Hey everybody, Scroft here. Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you're all doing really well. It's Friday, so again, you know what that means. FS25 update time. We've got some fact sheets. We've got a blog about goats. Got a short trailer that was to do with the McDon pack. I've condensed it all into one video with me doing the Let's Farm episode this week and also doing a BS with Beanie. I just thought it'd be better to just update everything on the Friday when we get the fact sheets out as well. So let's get through it. Read about these goats and what information is provided there. It's pretty straightforward, to be honest. Nothing crazy, nothing too exciting about it. So let's read through it. With Farming Simulator 22, we created some buzz by bringing you the bees to improve yield. Well, they did that, but it wasn't like we were hands-on with it, so fair play. Through the advantages of good old pollinating, for Farming Simulator 25, we really went back to the drawing board in front of the animal pen. Which animals are missing? Worms, bears, dragons. Fair play. I mean, I do agree that they have gone to the drawing board. They've obviously brought in the baby animals. They have changed the visualization of the animals and how they're kind of created and designed in the game. They do look better now, and with us having baby animals, hopefully that'll look even better for console players especially, but also for PC players, because I've mentioned that, yeah, I know we've had them as a mod, but these are some really detailed animals. When they're made by Giant himself, you've seen the quality of like their tractors and stuff like that. There's only a handful of modders that make it to that kind of standard. Don't get me wrong, they still make some amazing vehicles, tractors and everything. But, you know, you can see the Giant's kind of tractor, the base game ones, they are pretty much spot on. So I'm hoping the same applies to the animals. Sadly, those didn't make the cut, referring to the bears, dragons and worms. Neither did Pink River Dolphins. Yeah. But we went through yours as well as our own wish list and instantly thought, okay, we goat this. Giant Software, let's take the chance by its horns and create something goatily awesome. Water buffaloes. I don't get that. Like, what are they trying to say there? Why is that? Like, come on, Giants. What's that about? It's like confusing itself that you're making loads of goat jokes, which is fair play, you know. I mean, I'll be honest, I don't understand that. That's a little bit confusing. I think what they're trying to say is they looked at the list of what people's wish lists were for animals. They've added in goats, but the fact that they just drop in water buffaloes and a picture of water buffaloes when we've seen that already is a little bit strange when we're talking about goats here in this blog. Anyway, but let's not bleat around the bush. I think that's beat around the bush. You know about the water buffaloes already. Check out the water buffalo preview. We've done that already. In addition to this mighty animal of Southeast Asian descent who want to give livestock owners another option to choose from, we goat your back, farmers. I mean, it's cringe. I'm just going to say it now. It's bloody cringe. Anyway, the road to goat. Good goats take time. I'm finding it difficult to be on Giant's side this time with this one. This is a pretty shocking blog. It's just cringy. It's just cringe. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love a dad joke. I love a bit of a cringy joke, but the road to goat, good goats take time. I imagine that they do. It does cut off, but that's just because it's a PDF that was sent. But we'll carry on. I mean, I do like that picture. I think they do look pretty cool. They are crazy, aren't they, goats? So it's nice to have them in base game, but we've already seen them. We have with the mods that have come into the game. But I like the fact that it's the production side that they've added in that does, you know, enhance the idea of having goats now. You want to get your goats right, and the most complex thing are their legs and rectangular pupils. First, we almost created a Dahu by accident, a mythical creature. You can learn more about it from Katie. Right, you don't know who she is, do you? Right, so we're not going to read this now. I've just decided, right? And I don't normally do this, but I'm doing it for your favour. This is me. This is Scroft reaching out, doing you a favour, because you don't want to read that. It's cringe, and I don't understand it. So we're going to move on to the next part. I think what they are basically talking about is the fact that the 2D and 3D artists that have been working non-stop, they design the pupils because goats have basically got a 360 view of the surroundings. That's just something that, you know, goats have to kind of like protect them in the wildlife and so on like that. So they've kind of designed their eyeballs. They've focused on the pupils. You know, the 3D and 2D artists have basically designed them, and they've done a lot of work through it. But the reading of that is just a bit strange for my liking. So I'm just not going to read that for you. If you want to go check it out, blog's on Giant's website. You can go read it. You can see how cringy it is, and then you can let me know in the comment section. But we haven't got time for that. I want to get to the fact sheets, all right? We get it. We got goats. They look good. Let's do it. Move on from it. Anyway, then our artists and programmers built other parts of anatomy correct goats in different stages from newborn to adults, which I do like. I do want to know about that because obviously we're going to have baby goats. You can see them down here, and they are cute little things. And we, we like the idea now as players to have something where we can see these goats growing up and visually seeing it as well as just like because before we just got the age and that was it. They all looked visually the same. So it's nice to have that change. So you can enjoy one of the most anticipated farm animals. Before we show you the mini goats, here are some real facts about real goats. Fair play. So goats are incredible climbers. We all know about that. Rectangular pupils give them a 360-degree panoramic vision, helping them spot predators and navigate challenging terrain. They're curious and intelligent. Goats are highly social and form close bonds with their herds. And each goat has a unique voice. You can look at some videos basically with the screaming of goats, which you've probably seen anyway. So yeah, we'll just go through some pictures now. I can throw up some proper pictures here so you can see them because I think that's probably the most interesting part. So I'll put that up now. You can see these baby goats. They look pretty good. I think they do look better than what's provided currently through the mod just because, they got a lot more assets, haven't they, and a lot more money, let's say, behind them, so they can go and get these better kind of 3D designed. They can customize it and design these themselves, but they do look pretty good, and I'm happy with it. But let's get on to the more interesting part, which is like what they offer. So goat's cheese, goat's milk, things like that is a new production, and a lot of people are probably going to try this out, and maybe the main reason you're going to be, having goats on your farm. It says goat's milk is not everyone's cup of milk, but those who like it love it. It's distinct, slightly tangy flavour, is not as sweet as mild as your regular milk from a cow, but that's why it's so unique. If your taste, I think that says like if taste and profitable, so unique. Maybe if taste and profitable in production. I don't know. There's a lot of typos in this one, unfortunately. So we got some pictures now. I'm going to throw up this picture here because the ground deformation in this is a real big one for me, but it's cut off, unfortunately, in the PDF. But I do want to show you some of these because you can see, one, the third-person camera view, so they've got the workers standing about the place, and you can see that we got the goat's milk as well and the goat's cheese, but I do love that ground deformation. I think that looks pretty cool. That's actually probably one of the best, screenshots I've seen of it in-game. I hope that it maybe is a bit bumpy as well as you're driving over it. You'd imagine it is. It looks that way, so I'm hoping it is because you can see that, you're coming in and out from a certain area, and that's what I was hoping for because that, to me, just makes me think of, like, gate entrances. Imagine playing on Whitcomb Park Farm. It's come out, Oxys released his map, we're all playing on it, and we've got that ground deformation, and every time we're coming in and out of a gate entrance, maybe it's like a bale pad area where you've stored your bales, and you're obviously feeding your cows every day. So there's a lot of build up there, a lot of tractors, your tractors going in and out, your telehandler, whatever. And the ground deformation is like that, what we see in the picture now. That's a big bonus for me. I can't wait to see that in game and visualize it because, yes, it's not permanent and it will vanish, but if you're constantly going over that spot, you're pretty much always guaranteed to see it. Now, I imagine because of the way it works currently in FS22 is if it is like, which is the way it's been sold to us, it is like the tyre tracks that we see now. Now, when you jump out of game and come back in again, they kind of refresh. So that's one negative to it. You might jump back in, and then in this area where you see a load of ground deformation because it's like a gate entrance, like I've said for an example, that could reset when we jump back into the game. But again, if you're coming in and out of it, it's going to look pretty good. It's definitely a bonus in a step in the right direction. But maybe we could have it where we're constantly changing it lasts a little bit longer. I think it will depend on the specs of your system for PC especially. We might be able to increase it so it lasts longer. There's more of them. I know we can do that now with tire tracks. So fingers crossed there is a way to improve on it. But yeah, I like it as a first step. I just hope they improve on it and don't just kind of settle at that. So I've just read this and then I had to stop. I'm going to be honest. It's too much. It's too much. But I'm going to say it and then you can just, if I've got to read this, you've got to read this too, right? That's how I'm seeing this. So while keeping goats for the sake of it is awesome enough, new productions will allow you to process their milk and go for fine goat's cheese. It's worth it. You goat to believe it. But there you go. So what it's basically saying is goat's cheese. That's it. Fine goat cheese, in fact. So there's a difference there. It says, want to try goat's cheese for real? Try it with fruits, nuts, honeys, and herbs like thyme, rosemary, and basil. You can put it in almost every dish, like regular cheese from salad and stuffed in peppers and pastas and pizza. So, there we go. goats are coming to the game. They bring in goat's cheese, fine goat's cheese. We've got goat's milk. It's a production. They've put a lot of work in designing the animals. They look good. That's that in a nutshell. And the ground deformation picture looked amazing. There we go. That's that one out of the way. So let's move on to the small video trailer that we got earlier on in the week about the McDon pack.
Rated E for everyone.
So there we go. That was just a short 30-second clip that we got from Giants about the McDon pack. I'm just going to skip through. You can see that we're basically showing off the McDon swather. We've also got the harvester with the attachment that was going through and picking it up after. Now, the only difference between a swather, if you've not used one before, is it's basically going to harvest it but then drop everything. So it's not going to get threshed up into a harvester like it normally would, where it's separating the kind of like the grain out and then drops off the excess, which is what we use for straw. So it just chops it from the ground and drops it. Then you pick it up with the swather header. It goes into the harvester and does the actual threshing. That's pretty much the idea of a swather. Now, there's benefits to that and everything. We don't know the exact benefits of doing it in-game. I don't know if it's going to give us some kind of bonus to yield or anything like that. No confirmation there as far as I know or have seen. If anyone does know, let me know in the comment section. Share that news around. It'll be interesting to figure out like what is the benefit of doing swathing. I hope they do put some kind of benefit to it, maybe an increase in yield, because it is a different way of doing it. And if we're doing that and we get more straw, then fair play. If we're doing that and we get more yield but less straw, it'd be nice to know the actual specifics of it. Now, the McDon M1240 that we see right now, as I've paused this video, is going to be a pre-order. So remember that this is a pre-order bonus. It's probably going to be, like if you're buying it on Steam and you haven't pre-ordered it and you're waiting for it to come out, waiting for some mods and stuff like that, you'll probably be able to get it as an add-on. They usually cost like a couple of quid, especially on Steam they do. I think when FS22 dropped, we had... I think it was like a black fence, if I'm remembering this right. It was something along them lines. It was like a tractor that was a pre-order bonus. But if you didn't do it, you can still purchase it separately. So keep in mind, you can still buy this swather. I think it's a strange one if they don't actually allow you to do swathing unless you've pre-ordered. So I imagine there's going to be something, maybe a different type of piece of equipment that does swathing for people that have just bought the game after that haven't got the pre-order bonus, because it'd be a strange one to kind of lock out that whole new dynamic of the game, just if you have not pre-ordered it. So I imagine there'll still be something else, but the McDon that you see right now is a pre-order bonus, so keep that in mind. So we had that video come out early on in the week, and then we've had the blog come out on Thursday, but today at 1 o'clock when this video's dropped, it's all about the fact sheets. Now, I've had one especially that's really good. Now, I haven't actually looked into these. I've only looked at the kind of image that Giants shared where I got the information from early, and it was a harvester that I've seen before and then I wanted some more information on. So finally we're going to get that. And I have been liking the older equipment, so I'm really happy for this. So let's get them up and we can go through them. Hopefully there's more than the one that I know of. Fingers crossed, but I'm the same as you right now. I don't actually know. Right, so let's work through these. This first one, I'm actually really happy with. This is the AgriFact Light Tracks, and it's a sugar beet harvester. It's a bit strange that it doesn't actually tell you the width, the working width of this, because it looks like it's an all-in-one sugar beet harvester like we've seen before in the game, but we haven't seen an AgriFact version of this. So I am happy with this. I think this is a good addition. It's definitely a new brand that we've seen, especially for sugar beet harvesters. But it doesn't actually show the width. Now I'm going to guess that working width, it looks a bit shorter than before when we've had about, we're lucky if we get up to 3 meters on most of them. So I'm going to say that's like maybe 2, maybe just under 2. It definitely looks more narrow than a 3 meter one. It might just be the angle, but I'm going to guess it's 2 meters. Not entirely sure, but it is expensive again. Not kind of anything to start off with, especially root crops. We never get anything that's like for small size starting off, for like start from scratch kind of playthroughs. It's always really expensive gear. Now, I do know there is some options out there that allow us to, maybe go a little bit cheaper, even if it's older versions. And I know they have started to do that. Like we're seeing more and more, especially I think it started in FS22 and FS25. We're seeing more old equipment, more vintage stuff, which I like the look of. So it's 469 horsepower, 15 mile an hour on the road, 6 mile an hour working speed, 21 ton 900 litres of fuel. It doesn't actually show you the capacity as well as the working width. So there'll be a reason for that, but it is a sugar beet harvester and it looks pretty good. Now, this thing is awesome. Like, this is pretty cool. One, I've never heard of the brand Amity. I think I'm saying that right. Amity Technology. It's the 2720 Harvester Scrub, and it is another sugar beet harvester, but it's propelled by a tractor. But look at the working width on that, 6.4 meters, and it holds 6,500 liters as well of sugar beets. But it's the working width that I'm really happy about, because we've never seen anything that's got that kind of working width unless it's been like a mod, maybe like a bit of a cheat mod where they've increased it. But yeah, that looks really good. 280 horsepower, 6 mile an hour working speed. It's a sugar beet harvester, and yeah, 6.4 meter spread on that thing. It looks pretty good. And then from the same brand as well, Amity Technology, we got the Crop Chaser 1000, which is an auger wagon, which you can just see to the right, and it's 160,000 pound. It holds 61,000 liters. It's a beast of a thing. 61,000 liters. That's massive. But it does require 450 horsepower. Brilliant for sugar beets because you get a lot of yield from them. But God, that thing's going to make sugar beet work a lot easier. And the way I've always thought sugar beets is they're very profitable for the amount you do. It just takes a lot of work. Maybe that kind of brings it in line a bit more. But I like the look of that. I think that's pretty cool. Yeah, so I'm not sure how to pronounce this, but I think it's just like Kokeling, maybe Kokeling Ultima 800, which is a direct seeder, 181,000, 400,000 litre capacity. It just holds seeds as well. 8 meters spread, 275 horsepower requirement, 12 miles an hour working speed. Not bad. I can't complain at adding in direct seeds and everything, but it's not as exciting as all the other stuff we've seen so far. But it is pretty cool. But the sugar beet stuff that I've seen, I think that definitely stands above this. And some interesting stuff, especially that one that's 6.5 meters. That's going to be really useful. So before we go on the last one, I thought I'd just quickly bring this up, because the good thing about this picture, it does show you that kind of equipment that we looked at a bit more in detail. And you can see that is a beast of a harvester. Look at the size of it for the sugar beets. And that's, look at the auger wagon as well. It's massive, absolutely massive. But I thought I'd show you this because it does give you a better view of the actual tools. You kind of see in the back end from the other picture. But let's get to the final one, this Massey Ferguson 8570 harvester. Now, we saw this in a field when they kind of showcased the Asian map for the first time, and it instantly stood out to me. Like, it was, in fact, for me, it was probably more interesting than the actual Asian map, because I like the older equipment, and I think, it's definitely going to be one that I want to try out from the start. And straight away, I'm very happy with it. 104,000 is not bad for a price when it comes to a harvester. It's also got a decent sized header, 6 meters. So I'm very happy with that, and it looks superb. It really does. I just like the old school style of this Massey. I really do. 250 horsepower, 378 litres of fuel, 50 mile an hour speed on the road, and it can hold 8,000 litres, which is really good. That is a decent starting harvester for anybody to work to. Start from scratch equipment this time round looks really good. The header, £30,000 to buy, pretty expensive, but 6 meter header size is really good. 6 mile an hour working speed is a good speed as well. But I'm very happy with that. But look at it, it does look better. Like, you can't deny, I might be on my own here, but I actually think that them old school kind of style equipment with the square cab sizes and stuff like that, but everything's so curved off and more smooth nowadays. But the old kind of box style stuff, I just like it. I don't know why, I kind of tend to go towards more the older equipment, and I just think that looks better than the modern harvesters. That new one that they've been showcasing, like, yeah, it's modern, it looks really good, but that wins it for me. Like, every day, every time, that wins it for me. I think it's much better, and I'm looking forward to getting hands on with it and trying it out. So I think that's a perfect point to leave it on. That's all the FS25 news we've had this week. Hopefully that kind of brings you up to date. Hopefully you've enjoyed it as well. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Does anything stand out to you? Like the sugar beet harvester that's 6.5 meters, the fact we've got some AgriFac equipment that kind of brings us onto the sugar beet side as well, and this Massey Ferguson. Let me know what you think, and thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. See you, everybody.